listening to that podcast I just said. Thanks for tuning in. I'm joined by Chad and Logan from TriFit Barbell, as well as B3 Performance. Sorry, what was your name again?
Ian.
Yep. Ian from B3 Performance.
That's right. Strength Performance.
Yes, sir. Awesome facility.
Thank you.
Really we're just here to shoot the shit and
man, let's
talk
do it.
about your story, man.
Yeah. Wonderful. My story. So I'm a former kindergarten teacher, third grade teacher. Love teaching. I feel like I'm still teaching, so that's one of the things I love. But I just
still same maturity level.
It absolutely. There is no difference between an adult and a 5-year-old. The only difference is a slight longer attention span.
Slight longer, yeah.
But slightly
not
longer.
too much. Yeah.
You're giving the kids too much credit.
Yeah, right. No, I just been in a lot of different environments, a lot of boot camps and places like Title Boxing and Orange Theory and all those. And I have found what people really need. Most problems, we talked about this earlier, is people have strength problems. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
So for me, everything's about strength and improving your mobility, and that's what we do here. For me, it's dear to my heart because he knows this. I don't know if you guys know this, but I've had both my knees replaced 2 years ago, and I had a tiny goal in my head that if I ever get to a certain point, I'd like to be a powerlifter or at least attempt it.
Very cool.
Got there,
Very
and
cool.
so I reached out to Chad, which
we'll be competing in 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah.
Let's go!
Yeah,
That's
so
right,
excited.
dude. Awesome.
I didn't know if I could do this. I talked to my surgeon about it. He goes, "Yeah, I don't know, but good luck." He said,
Wow.
You're a guinea pig now." So just excited to be a part of it.
Sure, yeah. We're gonna go rub it in his face when we're done too.
better do that.
I squatted that, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I sent him a video a little over a year ago, which I'm doing almost, way more than that now.
Yeah.
But he was like, "I don't know, buddy. You said you were a strength trainer. I didn't know you were going to do that."
Yeah.
Well,
Nah, man,
so you said you have a physical therapist on hand,
Yes.
right? So in here,
That's awesome.
have you noticed a difference in? And I think I found this between surgeons and physical therapists, because I would imagine the physical therapist would say go for it, right?
You're going to make me
still.
blast people. I like that. I like that. I like
But no, and this is just I find like in the like surgeons, they're great surgeons.
that. Yeah.
But to say like, hey, you can't squat anymore, or like, hey, watch the knees, be careful. I wonder if it's more of they're protecting their work on your knees more so
they don't
than
want to say something and come back and be like, hey, by the way, you said this.
The liability behind it.
right.
Sure.
Because you're squatting and you're squatting well. Like it's not.
I'll tell you a story behind that a little bit.
Sure.
'Cause with the surgeon. When I walked out of the hospital, or not really walked, when I rolled out, he told me, "I don't want you squatting for a little while." He said, I'm not sure how well you'll squat, and you'll probably never be able to kneel. Just know that, and your squat's not going to be very deep. And I asked him, why can't I squat? He said, well, it's going to hurt. And I said, does that
doesn't
mean,
jive with me,
I said, does that mean I'm going to hurt myself or it'll be painful? He goes, it'll be painful. I said, but I can't hurt anything. And he's like, no, you don't have anything in there, but it's all fake now, so you can't hurt it. I said, well, then fuck that. I squatted every single day. I had video of me squatting, doing, with my walker and everything else. Right. And I feel because of that, because I asked the why, it changed my progression and my ability to recover, because now I can squat deeper than I squatted before my knee surgeries, which they said wouldn't happen. And I can crawl around on my knees all day long, which they told me I wouldn't be able to do.
Right.
And I just think that was the mindset of the why.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed with surgeons, this is very vague, is they focus on what they're fixing, the knee.
Right.
Physical therapist focuses on the foot, the hip, the shoulder, the whole joint-to-joint connection, which becomes way more holistic.
Yes.
And that's when we talk about a strength problem, I mean, the compensations, they're looking for things that, like, I've had so many ACL reconstructions that I've never had a doctor ever look at my other knee.
Right.
Because it's going to be impacted by what happened to this knee.
Right, sure.
But he does that. Brian, who you have, is fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's really locked into that. So
Well, that was-
I am a big proponent.
And that was when Brian came in. It was like his mindset was like, what do we got to do to get you moving again? It wasn't, hey, that's going to hurt. You're not going to squat anymore. Just start getting okay with that. And it's huge. Like we were talking before the podcast. Like usually pain is born out of weakness. You're not able to support that joint if it hurts. So then what do? We get stronger, and then the pain seemingly goes away. And I think in your case, right? I mean, you're about to power. You're about to power. You're about to compete.
Yeah. Now I know relative to what a lot of folks can do, it's not there, but for me, it's beyond anything I thought I'd be able to do. And I think Chad's going to make me a 500-pound squat.
Dude, let's go.
That's what.
I think you're
that's what's
pleasantly
about.
surprised in October 30th. It's going to be awesome, man. Yeah, I'm very excited for you.
Yeah, but I mean, we, speaking of that, again, the weakness, we're going to take the path of least resistance. That's where we're going to end up getting hurt.
Yeah.
And so, and again, we're talking this bullshit about cardio.
Mm-hmm.
We're just trying to get the mindset to change. Like your gym, which I absolutely love. It's more what I like. I love it. Like that's where I want to go.
Yeah.
Here is a little bit different because not all. We have plenty of proficient barbell lifters, but a lot of them are brand new to barbell. They're intimidated by barbell.
Sure.
They were told that the elliptical is how you burn fat, and running and all that. Yeah. So breaking that mindset is what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that we can change that whole idea because it's bullshit. And it's ruining a lot of
weird
people.
sheet system. It's just like you've been doing this for so long. It's the barbell. That's how you really got the gains. I was using a bike. They lie to me.
Dad, I need to do that with time. Just a tarp over. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's funny you bring that up. I used to do that when I was a third grade teacher. That's what. That's how we'd present the new science experiment. It'd be covered up so they have no idea.
Oh, that's that, man. That's awesome.
I like that.
Yeah, truly exactly the same.
Yeah.
I was just saying, no, man, you have a great facility, and I think there's some cardio equipment that's like not awful. Like I see rowers. I think rowers are fantastic. Like if you're gonna do anything, like I'll go over and do 500 meters, and I'll be like, that's enough. Yeah, that's good for me. Yeah.
It's 250 more than me, man.
You better. Yeah, and that's so. People are getting those results now. So like I remember when we opened, I would get either messages online or just face to face of, I think we need to do more cardio. I'm like, I care about you, but you're wrong.
But you're right.
And then we just have that conversation, and that's happening less and less and less.
Yeah.
And we've shifted our last 12 minutes of our workout is a little bit more high intensity. It was a little bit more cardio based, and it wasn't for me. It was for them. It was to give them that one thing that they wanted, not what I wanted.
Yeah, sure.
But we have slowly morphed that into more of now superset, triple set training at the very end. More, I'd say, a little bit of hypertrophy based at the end, which they're starting to enjoy, and they're starting to see results from it. So we're slowly shifting that.
Yeah, absolutly. Yeah.
I might get rid of those.
Yeah, maybe just be like the terminology and stuff like that.
I think that's just it. Yeah.
People are like, oh, it's got to be cardio for me to burn calories. It's like, well, kind of. Like it's like your heart's still going to get up. Your breathing patterns are going to increase, and you're going to be taking more oxygen. But I promise you, go do like a heavy, decent set of 10 on squats. You'll feel.
Well, I mean, they've done studies on that too, comparing like cardiovascular outcomes between like a weight training routine that is like relatively high in volume compared to like steady state cardio.
Right.
Similar outcomes, if not better. And I always love hearing people in my realm. They'll say, "Well, I'm just starting out by doing some cardio, then I'll work into the weightlifting."
Sure, yeah.
I'm like, how does somebody arrive at that? I don't know.
They were told that. Yeah, they heard. Absolutely. I don't.
Or the client that's like, I got to lose weight to start working. With
right.
You.
It's like I've got to do this first.
What is my job again? Let me double check my title. Right?
Well, it's the same as as my wife cleaning up the house before a cleaning lady were to come. What the hell are we doing here?
I'm embarrassed.
So, but I will tell you, I mean, no matter how many times you tell that to somebody, you really don't know it until you experience that type of breathing or that feeling underneath the barbell. And you come out and you're like, oh shit, that's what you're talking about?
100%.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it is nice that I think fitness knowledge in itself is shifting. Like there was all this like archaic thought process, 10, 15 years ago, but with social media, YouTube, and all that stuff, it's like, so some of these most influential people do understand how the importance of resistance training, and they are putting it out there and basically just saying, it's just like, you really want to lose weight, lift weights. You really want to look better, lift weights. You really want to feel better, lift weights. You really want to be stronger and more resilient to injury, lift weights.
Lift weights.
Exactly.
I use Abby as an example. Abby, when she started here, well, I guess when we were at Burn, she was a member at Burn.
Abby's one of your trainers?
Yeah, one of the trainers. So she weighed.
And I want her arms, dude. Like,
I know, shredded, right? Absolutely.
She was around, I don't know, 115. I know. She's around maybe 115. And now she's about 130.
Yeah.
But she's small.
Right.
So she didn't lose weight. She gained weight. And she lost body fat, and she has more muscle.
She can eat more too.
She's eating a whole lot more now. And we try to use that as an example to let people know that this is how that works. And I do the best I can explain the cardio thing, because I look at it as the only way to adapt to cardio is the only way is you have to do more cardio or faster or something like that. You adapt to strength training is very different. At some point, you're going to run out of the cardio. You're not going to be able to keep up with it.
And most people's definition of cardio, I don't think is like true cardio. And maybe I'm wrong, but incline in bodybuilding is kind of where I come from. Like walking on an incline treadmill or elliptical. I see that as more just energy expenditure.
Right.
Like I don't even know if they're getting their heart rate high enough to get benefits.
Yeah.
So that's a side conversation, but just a thought.
No, absolutely right.
That's really the disconnect that we're talking about. Is like people have, when they say, I think I need more cardio, what you're really saying is, I feel like my workout hasn't been intense enough to make me huff and puff. Like when a surgeon says to you, you're gonna feel pain when you squat. I always feel pain when I squat. It's 500 pounds, my bad. What are you talking about? And that's just like this disconnect between professional language and general population of what they're doing. Is like, if someone were to come to me and say, I need more cardio, then we can get your cardio through circuits, supersets, triple sets. Just limit your rest time.
Sure.
You can hop on that the elliptical or the rower all day long, but if you haven't pumped the intensity on it, you're going to feel the same way as a lazy set of bicep curls.
Yeah.
So
And that's, our values written up on that wall. That learn, lift, laugh.
Yeah.
The learn piece is, and that's what we really want. And I think Chad, because I'm pretty proficient, but I've learned so much from him in just a short time, which means everyone can constantly grow. Is instead of always just being told do this, it's the why. It's the why.
Why do you say that? What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
How does that help?
And I've learned that members aren't going to always. They're not. Clients are not going to ask the why. Some will, but many won't.
Some will lift and laugh a little more.
We need to put the why out there constantly so we can kind of change that.
Yeah. Or they'll I do have some clients that they keep circling back to that. I feel like I need to add in more cardio. I'm like, that's fine as long as you're not like, trading out resistance training for cardio. Fine, by all means. You know what I mean? If at the end of the routine you're bored or you got time, cool, go do whatever. You got 10, 20 minutes, that's fine. Promise you, if you're doing a good resistance training routine for an hour and a half, you're not going to have much energy to go do that, 10, 20 minutes of cardio anyway.
I get through your programming, and I'm like, Jesus. If somebody said you need to do cardio, I'm like, kiss my ass.
That's
I'm done.
Put me on the treadmill.
I look at the last two movements, I'm looking at Abby, and she's like, go. And I'm like, this guy's lost his mind. So, I don't know. Something's not right. They're not doing something right. But.
So, speaking of that, Chad, as his coach, and given his injury history, what is that like for you to program for him? Are there any adaptations that you have to make?
I mean, initially I was super cautious, having 2 full knee replacements. We were very timid at the beginning. But right away, I mean, I think our first session we literally dived right into squats. I really wanted to see how he moved, and he was telling me all about what he's been doing, with the physical therapy and then a lot of his training on his own. It was like I had a lot of optimism, and then just talking to the guy, super strong mindset. I'm like, that goes so far.
When you get somebody who wants to learn,
exactly, that's it. It's like you could have a perfectly healthy specimen, someone that's never been injured in their entire life, but if they have the wrong mindset, they're fearful, they doubt everything, right? They're not going to achieve much. But I could take someone that literally you're not broken by any means, but just someone that's just been through the ringer, and as long as they come in, they've got that that willingness to work hard and adapt to the situation, right? We had to modify, and I told him right away, it's just I'm not going to know everything from the start, but I'll learn really, really quickly, and I'll take notice of what seems to be working for him, and he's done amazing.
And I've noticed that in the programming. I can tell when you adapt the programming. I will admit, there's certain movements on there I'm like, what the hell am I doing this? And then I do it, and then I go into the bench. I'm doing the couch stretch. I'm like, what the hell am I doing a couch stretch? And then I get into the position you asked me to get into, and I'm like, I know exactly. But at the time, you can ask Abby, I was like, I don't know what this guy's smoking. But I do it, and I'm like, all right, I get it. And I was here's a perfect example. I was talking to Kaipo about this because I've always programmed, if I go to my previous jobs, box jumps. Plyometric training was done in a lot of environments, boot camp environments, for exhaustion. That's not the purpose of it, but that's how it's done. Here I do it more for priming. Nice. You have it at the end. And I asked Kaipo, is that right? Because I always do it this way. And then Kaipo explained, well, you're doing power training, which is very different. And then he explained why the purpose at the end matters. And I was like, there it is. Another check for Chad. So, again, learning more because, again, that's not my field. And most people think, I've had plenty of people ask me, why do you have a powerlifting coach? You lift weight. Why would you do that? And I can easily answer that now. At the time, I was even reluctant. I was like, I don't know if I want to get a coach. But man, I would have made a mistake if I did.
I was the same way. I think I've had coaches in just sports throughout the entire life, right? And some are good, some are awful. But that was all through adolescence, college, stuff like that. But like now, at this age, I have chosen several coaches, and the one that I'm with now, Trevor, I mean, he's been coaching for twice as long as I have, plus lots of experience, and it is cool to just have somebody else help you. You know, just when you are trying to direct yourself, unless you've been directing yourself for so many years, or your objective is, you know, general fitness, something like that. If you've got real big numbers in mind or real ambitions, I do think having somebody else just by your side, you know, just like, it's that friend, it's that AA sponsor. It's just like, it's like, hey, you know, someone to fall back on. It's just like, hey, you know, I'm struggling to get my mind around this, or this just seems to fall apart when I need to. Like having somebody in your corner, I think is so helpful. So having a coach, being a coach, like totally get it.
It was two things for me. You're outsourcing stress. Which you're put your faith into the coach, and if they're a good coach, then what they're doing is good for you. And the second thing for me was always, if I program for myself, it's like I created you, I can change you in a way, and then I'm not following the program. I'm just doing a daily workout. You know, like
created you, I can.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Absolutely. And I would do that too. Like I tried that for so many times. Every time I take a break from like one coach to the other is, you know, I'll try to program for myself for several months, and it's first few weeks are fine, but then one day it's just like, let's go ahead and test a 1 rep max. I'm feeling good. Let's do that.
Since the knees, that's like all the time, and I've gotten away from that now. But for the longest, it's just the squat. I always wanted to squat, couldn't. I was always terrible at it. And it hurt, and my form was terrible. And just now, it's like I'm in love with it. It's the only movement I even care about right now. And and that's awesome. You know, so but now I'm getting smarter about that. I think I texted you one time and said, hey, you might be mad about this. I went ahead and PR.
Never mad about a PR. No, it's been good. Yeah. Jacob, what'd you do to your elbow, bro?
Dude, I'll tell you what. So honestly, I've struggled here with warts my entire life, and I've gotten them removed repetitively. And after I got this tattoo, man, I started to notice them come back, like after years.
Interesting.
And so I picked at one, and then I think when I was doing some kind of like tricep movement last week, there's a bursa sac there that was inflamed. Because bro, like I woke up one morning and it just was like swollen. But it doesn't hurt.
Okay.
So I thought you were doing some sick dance moves at the wedding.
Dude, that was
elbow flare.
That was a long. I didn't know that. I mean, I had a great time, but I didn't realize that being in a wedding required a lot.
So
it was an experience. But
wrangling the bachelor, just come on, man, you got this. You're gonna be fine.
Well, he was cool. I'm 25.
You're gonna be in a lot.
I
am finally past that stage.
Thank God.
I mean, it's fun. Like it is. Don't get me wrong. But
you got some baby showers, a lot of stuff you're gonna do.
Oh, and the thing is, I was the only one crying up there during the ceremony, and it was so bad. I mean, he's a super close friend of mine. You know, I consider him my brother, but like everybody else is just all the dudes and the groomsmen were just hard asses, just standing there, and I'm over here like face puffy. And then the bridesmaids.
That's me too, man.
Yeah, I'm emotional, man. The bridesmaids are across the way. They're not crying. They're pointing at me and laughing. And so I can't wait to see the wedding pictures.
Heartless ladies.
I know. Y'all are supposed to be the emotional one.
That's right.
But unfortunately, guys, it looks like my laptop is like dying.
Wrapped up.
So I need to end the recording before it's too late.
That's right.
But thank you guys for listening to the Upstate Strength Cast. I look forward to learning more about Ian and getting more involved with B3.
What's your address here, Ian?
1200 Woodruff Road. We're Suite B7.
Sweet deal. Make sure to put that in the
Get
notes.
very confused because we were B3, but we were Suite B7.
So,
Bad idea.
Well, until next time, guys, we appreciate you and have a good one.